Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, before I get into the topic of this video, let me just first start off by saying me and Pops will be in New York City this week, starting tomorrow, throughout the week. So if you're in New York City and you want to meet your boy BT and Pops, will be at the New York City Golden Gloves Thursday night. If anybody's out there, let us know. We'll be at Better BF Smith Saturday night, and we'll be out there as well. So if you're going to any of those, let us know. But I wanted to speak about Edgar Berlanga and his fight with Roamer Alexis Angulo, and just give my little thoughts on that, because people have been asking me, BT, when you're gonna make a video about Berlanga. Now look, man, I'm a Berlanga fan. I've paid good money to watch him fight before, when he fought last year, the year in Florida against Desmond Nicholson. I like him, and I think he's a hard worker, and I think that he's a nice person. He's watched the channel before, so I do like the guy. But I gotta be honest with you, man. These last couple of performances, against Steve Rolls, wasn't up to par. Against Angulo, definitely wasn't up to par. I think there was a lot of flaws that have been further exposed in that fight with Berlanga, such as, like, first and foremost, right, I feel like Berlanga is going through an identity crisis, because at first he wasn't getting the rounds because he was knocking everybody out. Now he's trying to be more of the boxer to try to appease people, right? And that's not really who he is. You can see it's not really who he is, even though he's winning fights, and he's beating these good veteran fighters boxing that way, But he's not looking like the guy that you want him to look like. This is a guy that many people in boxing, and I'm gonna raise my hand and say even myself, we thought he was the goods. And you know what? Look, I'm not gonna stick a fork in him, because he can still develop and come well. But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, the way I see it right now, just being all the way a buck, removing my feelings aside, removing all biases for the guy aside, I think Edgar Berlanga looks more like a fringe contender than he does like the next Puerto Rican superstar, because look, those are some big ass shoes to fill, and he's being tasked with doing that, and that knockout streak, while it was fun as hell to follow and fun as hell to watch, and I always loved that time in his career. As far as fighter development is concerned, it may have been the worst thing to happen to him, because not like in the Angulo fight right now. Angulo is one of these guys, KG veteran, 38 years old, on the older side now, but Angulo can punch. Angulo is awkward. And Angulo, if you sit there and let him close a gap on you, will get physical if you let him, right? Angulo made Edgar very, very uncomfortable this fight. Now, I saw Edgar complaining on Twitter that he was getting elbowed a lot and things like that. And he has every right to complain about that. But when I see him complaining about it in the fight, I see him complaining about it on social media, it just makes me think that, like, okay, you won this fight. You found a way to win. Okay, good for you. I'm not gonna throw salt on you because you found a way to get the W. But, like, God forbid you fight a guy like John Ryder, who's at 160. God forbid Top Rank, really take them training wheels off you and put you in with John Ryder, someone like that, someone who's physical and younger and just grind you down, who's much more physically stronger than Angulo, who has a much better jab and better defense and more skills. God forbid Top Rank put you in there with a guy like that, because if you're complaining about Angulo being physical, I know for a fact you won't be able to handle John Ryder. John Ryder will run your ass right out the ring, straight up. So I think he's going through an identity crisis. It's being shown that he don't like physicality on the inside. And that's just what it is. If people want to call him a hype job, they're well within their means, because, like I said, he looks more like a fringe contender than he does a pay-per-view star right now, or a guy that could be the next Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican superstar, like a Miguel Cotto, or a Trinidad or someone like that. He's someone that I think he still has time, right? He still has time to develop, but man, oh man, you are not showing the extra bit of quality that we, the boxing fans, the supporters of this sport, and Puerto Rican boxing fans, you're not showing us what we need to see from you to be encouraged. People spend their hard-earned money to go to these fights, to get dressed up, to have a fun, nice night out, and you're fighting a guy in Angulo who, all respect to him, I like Angulo. He's a local product here in the South Florida area. You know, has a great reputation in the gyms for being a tough fighter to get out of there. So I have an idea of what Edgar's in the ring with, okay? But if you're the goods, if you're that guy, if you're that creme de la creme world-class fighter, you get a guy like that out of there. And if you don't, then you beat him in such a way like you did Desmond Nicholson, where it's like, you know, 2, 3 knockdowns, 4 knockdowns. You leave no room for error. You leave no room for, you know, any sort of questions. And it's just like, you know, Cosetes, Rolls, and now Angulo have been fights that have been wins, yes, and he gets credit for that. He hasn't lost yet, but subpar performances, not really giving the people what we're hoping to see from him. So, you know, right now, I'm gonna throw the label of hype job at Edgar Berlanga. That pains me to say that. I'm not really trying to. I don't like calling fighters that, and I don't want to call him that. But you gotta call a spade a spade. When a fighter is propped up to be at a certain level, and you got guys like Tim Bradley and the guys on Top Rank capping for him and caping for him on the damn telecast, when you're built up to that level, and you don't even come close to giving the kind of excitement that matches the level of hype that you're garnering, then at that point, when the reputation or when the hype exceeds the actual ability in the ring, that's the definition of what being a hype job is. That's the reason why I call other fighters hype jobs, you know, and I don't like calling fighters hype jobs, but they do exist in boxing. There are a good amount of them, and you could add him to the list because he's just not showing that development we need to see. Now, like I said, I'm calling him a hype job right now. Let me just go out here and get this on record and say this right now. Anybody from Berlanga's team or Berlanga himself, if you guys are getting all sensitive and whatnot, make sure you watch this part of the video as well. Just because I'm calling him a hype job now doesn't mean he can't still develop and shed that label later on and still become everything that they say he is. But right now, he's not meeting expectations. He's I know they say like, oh, well, he boxed a very good fight. I don't think he boxed a very good fight. He failed to keep Angulo off of him. He got hit with a lot of shots. He failed to stop Angulo from getting physical with him. That to me, that wasn't a beautiful display of the sweet science, you know. And I'll tell you this: if Angulo knew what a jab was and had any idea of how to cut out the ring, he would have been in some big severe trouble. And that's why I'm saying you can't put him in there with a guy like John Ryder. John Ryder will run his ass out the ring and maybe might crush his dreams altogether. You know, they talked about Jesse Hart, which is a fight I think we need. That's the fight we really need. We need to see if Edgar Berlanga really is the goods. That's going to be the ultimate sink or swim fight for him. You know, you can't pussyfoot around and see like, oh, is this guy going to be good? No, and match him carefully just because you want to sell some tickets. No, people aren't idiots. They can see if a guy is the goods or not. And people are starting to see that Edgar Berlanga right now isn't looking like the goods. And it's up to him. Only he can control it. Only Edgar can control what people think about him in that ring. And only he can control his performance in the ring. So it's up to him to show the boxing world. And most importantly, fuck the boxing world. Fuck the fans. Fuck being the next Puerto Rican star. It's up to him to show it for himself that he can go on there and be that guy that he believes he's in training to be since he was a young kid. So I want to see Jesse Hart versus Edgar Berlanga next because that's the fight that's going to give us more answers than questions, you know. But yeah, he is a hype job right now. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And you know, congrats to him on another win. But you gotta deliver a little bit more than that if you want to become the next Puerto Rican star. Because as far as I'm concerned, Xander Zayas was always the more talented guy. But you know, I don't even think it's a conversation anymore. Top Rank needs to put all their money into the Xander Zayas basket because Edgar right now, he ain't it. So we'll see what happens with his career. I wish him the best moving forward. I don't like talking like this about him, but I gotta speak the truth. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.